So there's going to be a new form of the Olympics coming up. It's in 2026, and it's called the Enhanced Games. Personally, I've seen it announced a lot on my feed. I've seen a lot of ads on television. I've seen ads on Instagram. Uh, I've pretty, I know pretty well that the Enhanced Games are happening, and it's something that I kind of knew was going to happen even before I started seeing it advertised. This idea that maybe steroids should be allowed in elite sports. Why not just put pedal to the metal and see how far humanity can go? Personally, I watch sports because I like to see how far this human species can go. When I see amazing play in the NFL or the NBA, football or basketball, and I see somebody do this amazing feat, an amazing dunk or amazing catch, it makes me proud to be part of the same species of animals that these people are. It really captivates me to see how far the human body can go. And same reason why I watch the Olympics. I like to see how fast the fastest human can go. I think it's a very basic instinct to just be impressed by, these absolute beasts of human beings. And the enhanced games is more or less the extent of that. It's to see how far human beings can go, granted with chemical enhancements, pharmaceutical enhancements, and I think that I think it's kind of the natural evolution of things. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it does make me very uncomfortable as a natural weightlifter to see a normalization of steroids. That's my first instinct. My first instinct is this is bad. But the more time that I've been able to sit down and really think about this enhanced games, the more I've actually come to accept it and come to accept steroids, come to at least normalize it in my own brain that steroids might not be this monster that I've made it out to be. I'm sure some of you guys know, hopefully, that I work in healthcare and I lift weights so that I can kind of just be the strong person at work. A heavy patient needs to be lifted. I kind of weightlift to prepare for moments like that, which come up kind of often. It's kind of neither here nor there, but I weightlift to live a healthy lifestyle, to be the strong person at work, and because it really helps with my sleep. It gives me something to do, gives me something to be proud of. That's why I weightlift. But there's also a section of athletes who weightlift to be the best. And to be the best, you have to do everything possible. And that's not me. I came to those terms when I was a senior in high school, and I knew I was not D1 bound. But there is a large subsection of the population who are elite athletes, and with a little bit of chemical enhancement, can actually break every single world record that we have. I see that the enhanced games have $1 million prize to anybody who breaks the 50-meter record for swimming, a 50-meter freestyle sprint, not sprint, but freestyle swim. Sorry, I'm not really familiar with swimming. And the 100-meter sprint, $1 million for each of those prizes respectively. And I can almost guarantee that both of those records will be broken. So in 2026, we're going to be seeing these enhanced games, and it's going to blow everyone's mind, my opinion. I think that everyone's going to be very surprised to see exactly how far we can take this human shell. And I think that it is going to be very jarring, the normalization of steroids. It's jarring for me. Already, I'm talking about how steroids might not be as bad as it is. If you want to hear the case against what I'm saying, look up any YouTube video from any doctor, anybody in healthcare, talking about steroids and all these cases of people dying in their 30s, sometimes late 20s, from steroid use. All of these professional bodybuilders who just sent it, just not, I wouldn't say self-harming, but they definitely did not take their long-term health into account while they were taking all these steroids. I think that these are the cases that I read about when I was younger. I read about still. And these are the ones that I associate steroids with. When somebody says they take steroids, I associate it with these people who died of enlarged hearts very young. Like a needless loss of life, almost like a death of despair, like how people die of drug overdoses or you know, I don't want to say the word, but, self-harm, people who harm themselves like that, dying. So I don't know, like, if that's a fair assessment of people who use steroids. I think that there actually might be a case that people who use steroids can do it in moderation and actually have increase in their like activities of daily life. They're able to get around better. The best case for this is testosterone replacement, TRT, and that people who, men, once they get to their 40s or 50s, their testosterone drops a lot, and sometimes doctors will prescribe them TRT, testosterone, and it really helps with their libido, bone density, their muscle. They don't lose as much muscle, obviously, and they actually live like longer and more fulfilling lives with testosterone replacement. I will not be taking steroids. I still am not going to take steroids. I might do TRT when I get to my 40s or 50s, but that's more than a decade away, more than 2 decades away. So I don't think that there are cases in which steroids are appropriate, but now we're talking about young people taking steroids. We're talking about elite athletes taking steroids just to see how far they can take it. It's definitely very concerning because the bodybuilding industry has more or less been the test ground for this, and a lot of these bodybuilders really did hurt themselves. The Enhanced Games is saying that they're gonna have doctors prescribing medications and it's gonna be within safe levels, but all these like bodybuilding, it already has been. It was the first frontier, and a lot of people really did hurt themselves. So if you take the caveat that these are prescribed by doctors and these are people taking it within normal levels, maybe it actually is going to be helpful and it won't be people dying of enlarged hearts at very young ages. But maybe not. Maybe it is just going to be a repeat of bodybuilding. I don't know. And I think that this normalization of steroids is going to be very eye-opening. Whatever may come from this, I think that is going to be very interesting to see. I honestly do hope that steroids might not be that bad. Maybe there actually are like people who can take it for maybe not long term, but people who take it while young and athletic and don't experience such negative health consequences. At least not like the case studies that we see from the bodybuilding industry. So maybe steroids I have needlessly judged too harshly. I'm still not going to take them, but it might not be as bad as we thought, and I might just be just a hater and just needlessly judging them. But I guess we'll find out. All right, I'll see you guys.